Yeah, no, whatever. Do it. Send it in. Shit.
Well, you have to do better than this one because all that was in the Patreon only.
Yeah. That's, oh, nice.
He has the power.
He can do it.
That's fair.
Oh, this man knows his trade.
This episode is made possible by our therapy partners, Dirty B, Pickett, and Jake Schneider. From fabulous Las Vegas, Nevada, this is Pod Therapy. Real people, real problems, and real therapists. You can submit your questions anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. And now, broadcasting from Turin, that's Jim. I'm Nick. It's time for some Pod Therapy.
Oh, yeah. So if you're out there and you're thinking, man, I'm so sick and goddamn tired of that theme song, I'd like to write another one. People are sending them in now. And, people being one person.
Yeah.
But
person.
We are trying them out. We're trying them out in the Patreon.
Yep.
If you'd like to hear the new submission, patreon.com/therapy for as little as $1.
That's
you
right.
can be listening. That is 25 cents an episode. So.
Also, if you go to patreon.com/therapy, you get access to our Discord feed.
Yes.
Which I participated in this week.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Somebody tagged me in a question on Discord. I saw it. I logged into Discord. I answered the question.
Oh, wow.
So,
there you go.
Money, please.
Yeah, guys, don't tag Jacob. We have to pay him per letter. He gives us the day rate. Please don't do that.
It is a mess.
Patreon.com/therapy. You can check out our pre-show, which comes out every episode. And you know what? If you're sitting there and you're like, I am just not feeling the ads, man. They're annoying. I don't like dealing with the skip button. Please, patreon.com/therapy. Put $1 in the hat. The thingy will spit out the little link. They just copy and paste that into whatever app you're using for podcast. Just go into settings. It'll say, hey, do you have a custom feed? Yep, here you go. Paste. Done. And then from that moment on, you will get on Wednesdays instead of Thursdays the full unedited, uncensored show.
That's right.
No ads. So it's $1. It's $0.25 an episode.
Ads alone are worth it.
Easily. But we've got some great questions for today's show.
No Whitney today.
Ciao, Whitney. That's Italian, boys. I've been to Italy, so yeah.
When? This
in
century?
high school. Yeah, I went to Italy and Greece in high school. I did.
All right.
I went to Florence and Venice.
Okay.
And Rome.
And are those in
Athens.
Italy or are they
Those
in
were
Greece?
Italy, bitch.
Oh,
Those were all Italy.
Where's Athens?
That was in Greece
Okay.
when I hopped the border to Greece, and then I went through the Mediterranean Isles. I went to Mykonos and Patmos.
All right.
So you hopped the border from Italy to Greece.
I did. I went to Ephesus. Yeah, I went to Delphi. So I saw a bunch of shit. I just didn't
That's the
care.
Oracle.
It
Did you
was.
Did you go see
We
where
did.
the Oracle's
Yeah,
temple
we saw
was
the Oracle,
in Delphi?
and then we raced
Delphi,
on
Delphi?
the original.
I don't know.
Delphi?
I call it Delphi. We raced on the
that's-
original
that's how I
Olympic
know it's
track.
not.
That's how it's probably definitely not that. My favorite
I don't know
meal,
which is right. I don't know if it's Delphi or Delphi.
I'm pretty sure it's Delphi.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's Delphi.
I think
Delphi.
Delphi. Now I want to say Delphi.
No, come on.
I think Delphi is also where they have like the navel of the world.
Oh,
I believe that's in Delphi.
the center of the earth.
Yeah.
Huh.
That's what they.
Like
that's
the
what somebody
geographic
believed at that
center?
point.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
I'll
think
bet
it's
you
anything.
that guy was from Greece. Who
Yeah.
thought that the center of the world was probably also in his native country.
Right.
That probably adds up.
Maybe.
Yeah, he probably wasn't from Turkey.
Yeah. My favorite meal when I was doing my tour day Europe, I guess. Is this all Europe? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll have to go back and watch 300. But yeah, it was the McDonald's in Athens. That was
Oh yeah, Delphi, Greece, the
fucking
navel of the
best.
world.
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Located in the Pan-Hellenic sanctuary of Delphi in Greek mythology. Oh, so it's a Greek myth thing.
Oh,
Zeus sent two eagles to find the navel of the world, and Delphi was named that spot.
Of all the things that Zeus would want to find, the belly button
That's right.
of a planet.
Yep.
Huh. Yeah. I mean,
Oh yeah,
feels like there's
the
other
statue
things.
I've seen.
Oh, there you go. The belly
Yeah.
button statue. There it is.
You see that when you were there?
Yeah, the statue that the thing that's just a giant butt plug.
It's an Audi.
Yeah.
I don't remember seeing that.
Yeah. Well, it's because you've probably never been there.
I have been there.
Well, apparently it doesn't sound
Not
very...
to the navel.
Yeah. See,
Did you say
Guess
to
I
any of
missed
the
the
cab
navel.
drivers, take me to the navel?
yeah. If you haven't flicked the navel, you've never been there. Okay. You got to get it.
Take me where all the lint is.
Yeah.
The lint capital. Patreon.com/therapy. Give us money and skip the ads. We've got some great questions this week, starting off with, I think,
Much better than last week.
Yeah, finally we're done with the bullshit. We saved all the good ones. Accepting my son's autistic reality. My son is on the autism spectrum. COVID set him back socially. He started high school and we tried to let him do a technology class. It failed so much, so his teachers said they failed him. His class is full of kids who've bullied him for the last 2 years. By full, I mean 7 total kids with 5 dedicated bullies and 1 who joins in. No other school options have been found, and when we do, that school kicks him out. How do I go about accepting that he may never be able to move out of our home? This also means I may never be able to live without my ex-wife because the cost of living and needing her assistance is necessary to take care of him. Thanks, Anonymous. Oh, man, that's a tough one.
7 kids total. 5
just
are
sounds
dedicated bullies and 1 joins in. So those are not good odds.
Yeah, and I'm getting the impression I'm getting from those numbers and from some of the context of the letter, I think son is in special education.
Yeah.
Because those are super small numbers. Mm-hmm. And it sounds like they took a chance, maybe trying him in a general ed technology class, and that backfired terribly, and he ultimately failed. And so they're facing this kind of ongoing reality now that this kid is in high school, that he is not showing his ability to kind of get along on life's terms here, and then getting picked on. And dad is starting to say, hey, this might be something where for the rest of our lives, our son's going to live with us. And I think that opens up a lot of challenges, like the author was saying. Like, okay, another challenge here is I would like to not have contact with my ex. And usually when your kid turns 18, you can be done now. Our financial entanglements are done. Our co-parenting legalities are done. Go away forever. But if you have a special needs child that's going to need continued care into adulthood,
maybe not done.
You're probably not. It's probably going to have to be a new, legal arrangement and a lot of communication.
Sounds like they still live together too.
You think the ex-wife still lives with the
May not
writer?
be able to live without my ex-wife because the cost of living and needing her assistance to take care of him.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, geez.
So,
yeah, that.
I don't know.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know if that's like we live together or like we can't live without that support. Or
that's how I took it the
I don't
second
know.
way. But now that you're saying it, maybe that actually means the writer's saying we divorced and we're still running a household.
maybe cohabitating.
Because the costs, and that is true. Like, especially a lot of, people that have children with autism, those kids are still getting a lot of ABA therapy, even into those teen years. They're getting a lot of extra support, and those extra services are not free, and like they burn up your insurance really fast. You end up with a lot of extra out of pocket unless you can get your child designated as needing disability, through the government. Then maybe you can start getting access to some long-term support. But it's hard for a lot of parents. They don't want to do that because they feel like they're giving up on the kid if they take them through that process of getting them labeled with disability. And usually I think you have to wait until they're an adult to do it legally anyway.
Yeah. I mean, you said they don't want to do that because they feel like they're giving up on them?
Parents, I notice they struggle with it because there's this sense of like, we've been working so hard to get you up to this minimum level so you can function.
Oh.
And there is like a way to live in the world with some support, but still being an independent adult.
Yeah. I mean, I just look at it as like, that's a resource that's available.
Yeah.
And I do get that, some people may look at that and feel like they're kind of giving up, but like it's there, it's available. Let's just take every bit of help that you can. Because unfortunately, you're right. There's not a whole lot out there, and what is out there isn't free.
Yeah.
So you do end up paying for it one way or another. It is, I guess, in a way, the bright side, it is nice that you do have the support from the ex-wife. And in a way, you're always going to be linked together because you share a child together. So there's really no way around that. That's unfortunate.
The letter also underlines, I think, one of the real challenges with SPED, with special education, the bullying, man. So like over the years, I've had patients who, are now into their adulthood and grew up, maybe on the spectrum or needing, special education. And to a person, they tell me how difficult that was and how the resource itself was very frustrating because a lot of times they're put into what's called resource room or general. It's not general population, but it's like it's a group, right? So you're not getting one-on-one, support with the teacher. You're interacting with other kids that qualify to be in that program, but there's a wide range.
Yeah.
And so you've got kids that are violent sometimes that are, going to be a risk. You've got kids that can be really, really cruel that have, again, the population may often struggle with social skills and be very brash, and like this bullying thing is not uncommon. And it's one of the most frustrating things I see for people that, have come through that program or even parents with children in those programs is like, how can they possibly get some help for that? And you think like, well, maybe you need to go find a special school. But again, this bumps up against the restrictions of reality because usually the only schools you're going to find that are properly funded enough to have a special education program that's actually worth a damn are going to be public schools because there are laws requiring that there be some kind of budget and some kind of thing, and there's some kind of oversight. And this is actually the number one area that public schools get sued is screwing up somehow in special education. So there's a lot of oversight, there's a lot of eyeballs on it. But just because it's being provided by the public and just because it will exist, it doesn't mean it's going to be individualized. It doesn't mean it's really going to be sufficient, as you're seeing in the story. You're just throwing everybody in the same room, and a lot of times they're just bracing for impact and just rolling through the day and doing the best they can. It's very hard to just find like an adequate learning environment.
Also depends on the size of the community too.
Yes,
it's a lot different in rural areas where you've already have limited access to education, and sometimes you do get everybody kind of gets put in the same.
It's
same
tough,
bucket.
man. It is really tough. And as a parent, when you're watching your kid, get bullied and they're coming home and they're telling you this sucks, it's hard for me, like other people are mean to me. I mean, obviously it breaks your heart anyway because your kid is struggling anyway. Like you see it, you are aware of autism, you see their limitations in life. You're watching them grow. You're hoping every single day that they make little steps and that they make some progress. And then whenever you send them to school, you're hoping that's like the safe place. And then they're coming home and they're saying, we're failing this kid. We're not going to, and that's another problem too, is like a lot of times with parents of special ed children, they'll say, I want to get them into Gen Pop. I want to get them out there. I feel like they're surrounded by these bullies. They're surrounded by kids that are regressing in a lot of ways. And I don't think it's a good example for my kid. And I feel like if my kid is around, kind of a more stable classroom, with, kind of the general population, their hope is like my child will rise to that level and they'll kind of match it or they'll emulate it. But there still needs to be some accommodation and some support. And so a lot of parents insist on getting their child into general ed. And then, like this writer said, a lot of times it doesn't work out. And, now the child's failing classes. And that stinks because now that's academic record, right? And like we're not trying to create a paper trail that's hurting the kid. We want them to grow, but we also don't want to set them up to fail. And now that's hurting their confidence too because they're like, oh no, academically I did really bad. And for a lot of families, especially if your child has autism, it's science and tech and math are the ones that they think, okay, maybe my child can do well in that because, just a lot of times that population seems to have a lot of clarity with that kind of subject. They do pretty well. They take an interest in it. And so it's like, hey, could be the one thing. This could be like their foothold into like the general population of people. They could find their niche. And it's devastating when it doesn't happen. It's a really hard letter to read.
So the author writes like, in a way, like, how can I bring myself to terms with this? How can I go about accepting that he may never be able to move out?
Yeah.
He's always going to be, maybe, I'm always going to be taking care of him. I think that for a lot of parents is really difficult to accept and to kind of grapple with this idea that like, I think, you have 2 kids. I'm sure you and your wife have probably had that thought of like, when they're 18 and they've moved out,
right?
Oh, the places we're going to go. Like
We'll
see other parts of California.
We're going to go to the other Arby's.
Yeah, maybe
the one that's 10 miles further. I've always wanted to see what that.
We're going to see
like.
the rest of Henderson.
Yeah,
that's right.
Or whatever your dreams are.
We're going to go to a movie that is not Disney. Yeah,
but like, you kind of have those thoughts, I think, as parents. It's just kind of like your whole life is around your children, and then at some point they kind of get to that age where it's like, okay, it gets to be just us again, and we get to kind of be ourselves, and we get a little bit more independence. We did our job, we did our duty. Now we can kind of relax. And I think for a lot of parents that have children that, are going to need help and going to need assistance, there is kind of that struggle that you feel. It's almost like a grieving process, I would imagine, where you kind of start to grieve this life that you realize that you're not going to have.
Yes. No, you're absolutely right, man. And I think that it's right that we're labeling that as a grieving process, because I know for the parent, there's nobody they can talk to about it. When they try to open up with other family about it or friends, I think everybody feels like the only right reaction is to be positive.
Yeah.
Be like, oh, I'm sure he'll get better. He's, the other day he was great. Like, I'm sure it's not as bad as you think. Hang in there, champ. And I feel like it's already a struggle to openly admit to another human that your child, who you would die for and you love to pieces, is also a source of great pain in your life. And their reality that they face and the unchangeables that they didn't ask for, but are real, are something that are haunting for you. And they do change all of your realities, especially when you're raising a special needs child, not being able to go on vacations, not being able to go out to dinner, not being able to go out on dates. A lot of marriages really, struggle whenever you have a special needs child in the household. A lot of other siblings in the family get ignored or neglected because the high needs child is always getting that attention. And so for the parents, they do 10 times the amount of parenting and boots on the ground work and emotional struggle that any other family does. And they do that in the first 18 years. And then there is no guarantee that once that kid's 18, you're just going to sign them up for, disability, get them resources, and get them, into something. Anytime resources can be found that create an opportunity like that, I am a big proponent of that. So in Nevada or Las Vegas, we have Opportunity Village, which we're all very aware of. In Phoenix, Arizona, I think they have Kurt Warner's Treasure Community.
Okay.
Yeah, Kurt and his wife opened up a program for that because they had a special needs child. And it's very rare to find places like that. Like that's a very rare thing to see.
Yeah.
And in both of these situations, they've created a safe community for people with special needs in adulthood to have an apartment and to have a job. The program gives them work. And they earn real money,
and they
but they're
do
also protected.
On-location job training and everything there as well.
Yes, and everything is matched to the person,
right.
And then they have a cafeteria. It's a little village, it's a little community, and it's all safe. And then they have go-outs where they all are going to go see a movie or go bowling or whatever, or bring activities there, and so those I think are a miracle for families like that, so that they can have some kind of respite. But what you said, Nick, I think is absolutely the right kind of range we need to be thinking about. Is that this is something that you're allowed to grieve. It's something you're also allowed to struggle with. I think there's a lot of people that think maybe the right thing to do is to let this person go into the world and figure it out. But then there's that fear of like, is that even possible?
Yeah, and I think, I think the first step as a parent in a situation like this is to give yourself some leeway, to be kind to yourself and understand that like having these thoughts doesn't make you a bad person.
Not at all.
Because I think a lot of people, when they have those thoughts of like that grief of like, oh, I'm never going to be, I'm always going to have somebody I'm taking care of. I'm never going to be, done with this role. They kind of, the next thing is now I feel bad for having that thought.
Right.
Of like, oh, I shouldn't feel this way. No, this doesn't make you a bad person. This is anybody in this position would feel this way, and it's okay to feel that way. Doesn't mean that you're not a good parent. It doesn't mean that that there's anything wrong with you.
Yeah.
That's a perfectly fine thought to have, and I think you do owe it to yourself to be able to grieve that.
Yeah.
And it is a change in life. I think the next step then is to kind of redefine what your life is going to look like moving forward. What does success look like moving forward? Because it's going to look different than what you maybe have pictured in your mind. And you kind of have to redefine that. But it's still going to be okay.
Yeah. I think a lot of times when people hear somebody talking about this and emoting about it, there is a tendency to be positive. There's also a tendency to try to say, well, have you tried this? Well, have you tried this? I've looked this up. I've looked this up. And trust me, when you are raising a child that has special needs, you've tried it all. You've talked to the resource teacher. You've talked to the special ed people. You've gotten into therapy. You've gotten ABA. You've talked to psychiatry. You've gotten every possible benefit you can get your hands on. And when a person's at the end of their rope and they're looking around, they're like, I don't know what to do. There's not some simple answer. We either need to see the progress or it isn't there. And, and that can happen if your child, has any kind of developmental disorder. I mean, all sorts of things. And that is a reality, for so many people. And I guess it's one of those things that I always want to be really careful not to try to slip into a case manager mentality where now I'm going to try to quarterback and give them more suggestions because I just don't want to disrespect the emotion that they're holding, that there is a sense of like futility. And sometimes, ironically, it is healthy to grapple with that. It is healthy to wrestle with the checkmate that you're in. And there is also, I think it's also important to reflect on this idea of suffering. And you and I have talked about that before. I think not the Socratics. Marcus Aurelius was of this order. The Stoics.
Stoics.
Yeah, the Stoics famously have that theory where they explain suffering is inevitable, but you do get to choose how. And even if you feel like you're not given a choice, you have one. You can choose to watch your child suffer without your aid and let fate have upon them whatever it will be, and you will feel the pain that comes with a parent watching the child, go through this. Or you can choose to suffer by sacrificing your own independence and freedom and personal choices so that you can provide extended care for your child. And they are both shitty choices. Like, nobody's happy about that. But there is a sense of personal autonomy in the sense that you get to make that decision for you. You know your reasons for why. And I think that factors into the grieving process. It doesn't resolve it. It doesn't take it away. But there is a sense of agency and choice that at least we can stare at and say, I'm choosing this over the alternative. And that's my choice. Same
probably goes with then having to continue to, interact with the ex-wife.
Yeah.
I mean, you're in a position where it's like, okay, well, the best case scenario is we learn how to co-parent really well.
Right.
And that's going to be a challenge. But, again, it's just like, it's frustrating because it's kind of like, a game of poker. It's like, well, this is the hand you're dealt.
Right.
How you choose to play it is up to you.
Yeah.
But it makes no sense to get frustrated about the cards.
Right.
They're not going to change.
They're not.
This is what they are. We just kind of have to deal with it the best we can. And sometimes, that kind of comes back to redefining success.
Yeah.
What does success look like? For your child, success may be, living a happy, fulfilled life. What does that look like?
Yeah.
How can you help with that? Your communication with your ex-wife. Are you able to work on communication and be able to co-parent together and be able to identify goals and objectives for your child and be able to put your own issues aside to be able to co-parent, you know? And that's all just kind of redefining what your life is going to look like moving forward.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you have to redefine what success even looks like. I think that's a big part of it. And, again, not to try to get into this case manager quarterbacking thing, but when there are children like this that you're looking at them thinking they will never be able to have a job, they will never be able to be independent, I want to just make sure you're fully aware that that means that they qualify for disability. And that's what an assessor with the government is. And that's a federal program. That's not state by state. And so the feds will look over this case. And if they agree, this person is not going to be likely to be able to do those things, now they're going to get money and insurance from the government. And that does help your situation, Ryder, because if your child is, now getting, federal assistance, they're getting food, they're getting insurance, they're getting money, that money can be routed into, offsetting the cost of you and your ex-wife, maybe getting your own apartments. And like you're both part-timing it with your son or something to that effect, but now there's enough money to go around that he can kind of pay his own way. So there could be some help with that, or maybe
a facility like Opportunity Village or something like that.
Yes, and those absolutely they'll cash that government money as well, and they get vouchers and all sorts of things to be able to do that. So again, I don't want to disrespect your journey by trying to get in and say, "Have you thought of this?" Because that is one of the most annoying things that people in your position go through. But Ryder, this is going to be some with these long-term struggles of learning how to grieve, to mourn a life that is not going to change. and also to right size it and take it one day at a time. I have seen people get to the other side into their adulthood and start making some real progress. And I've also seen people that have made some, but they're never going to live independently. I've seen it where an adult had his own condo, and then each of his parents took turns staying with him for several days at a time, and that would give the other one some respite. And then a sibling, another adult sibling would stay one other day and give the parents opportunities to kind of just have their night together and catch up. And so it is a hard thing, but there are ways to cope. There are ways to manage. And you're definitely still going to have to wrestle with that unchangeable reality. And grieving through it is one of the ways that you ultimately cope. And that's how I think humans get to acceptance. That is our seventh stage of change, right? Or not seventh stage of grieving. When humans are going through this, we expect them to go through all those stages of grieving. There's that denial era where they think this is, it could get better. Let's not lose hope. They go through depression. They go through anger. And eventually they get to a place of acceptance. And these are not linear. You don't just fold from A to B to C to D. You hop between these zones. And some days you have more acceptance than others, but eventually, if you're going through that grieving process, that is the path that we therapeutically think of that eventually leads to acceptance and that, I guess, peace. May not be happiness, may not be joy, but peace. And I guess that's sometimes the best goal we can reach for. Yeah. Great question, Ryder. Very real stuff here. And you're speaking for a lot of people, and I appreciate that because this is a voice in a community we don't hear enough from. A lot of people kind of keep this under their hat. Just because they feel like it's very personal and they don't want to be seen as somebody complaining. But there are a lot of folks in America dealing with this. So, I'm glad to hear your voice. We need voices like yours. Well, we're going to take a quick break. And when we come back, we are talking about dealing with ultimatums. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Judy Schneider, Leon Kassab, Carolyn Alberts, Amy Scoop, Sarah Smith, Mike Helm, Darren Cunningham, Matt and Lisa Tangeman, and Cody the DeLorean guy. Would you like to sponsor the show? Become a therapy producer at patreon.com/therapy.
Well, I'll tell you who's not going to win trivia.
Me!
Oh, shit, she's back! And her Italian accent's thicker than ever.
Opa!
Mario!
It's a me, a Whitney.
All right. We're going to finish off these 1-star reviews.
Yeah.
All right.
Let's go.
This is supposed to be the future of cleaning? Yeah, right. It barely picks up anything unless it runs it over the same spot 3 or 4 times. And even then, I still see dust left behind.
Yep.
And don't get me started on the fact that it gets stuck in literally everything. Wires, carpets, even my shoes. I thought I was going to be able to sit back and let this thing take care of everything, but nope.
Yeah.
I end up chasing it around my house more than it actually cleans.
Yes.
A woman.
Yeah. Oh! Oh!
He's right.
Take care, everybody. That's the show. We'll see you soon.
Okay, I think we know what this is.
As the auto vacuum.
Roomba.
Roomba.
Yeah,
Yes,
go
yes,
with the
yes.
Roomba.
It is a Roomba.
So
We have a Roomba. It works wonderfully.
How do your dogs deal with the Roomba?
They don't give a shit about it at all.
Dude, my dog lost her fucking shit.
Oh, yeah?
So she sheds all over the place. And so we're like, oh, yeah, we have that Roomba. We haven't used it in forever. It's in the garage. Let's get that shit going. So we get the Roomba going. It's like, oh, this is going to be such a big deal. Like, we have hard floors. It'll be perfect. Things to get it all. This dog lost her fucking mind. I have the barking was like that crazy shrill barking where you realize they're going to have a heart attack.
Yeah.
And so she just chased this thing around the house, losing her shit, was like shaking. She was so upset about it. So we had to turn it off because we're like, the dog's going to die.
Right.
Like, this is not okay. Because we thought, oh, she'll stop it after like a couple minutes. No, we ran that bitch for an hour. And she just lost her fucking mind. So then we had all these other ideas of like, well, let's expose her to it. Like, let's pick her up and pet her and take her over to it. No, she was like crawling out. Oh my God. Yeah. It's just, I thought she was going to like snap her fucking neck.
Our dogs aren't fans of it, but they don't really care about it.
Yeah.
They're mildly annoyed by it. And they don't want, they're not interested in being around it.
Yeah.
But like, if they are there, like they're not scurrying to get away, they'll just walk to a different room.
They're annoyed. They'll just walk away.
They'll just be like, that thing's over there. I'm gonna go over here.
Anything that moves that is not a human, my dog loses her shit. Candles freak her out because of the flickering flame. She'll bark at them. It's really fucking annoying.
Are you sure this dog isn't genetically related to you?
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I know. She's got so much anxiety. It's crazy.
Where is she learning it?
Yeah,
Right.
Well, I'm also crying at the Roomba.
Nurture, not nature.
Yeah, that's right. All right.
No,
so,
I don't have a Roomba. I actually haven't. Does it work well?
It works. Ours works well.
For such a small device. It
I
seems
don't know.
like it.
I mean, it's great at picking up some dog hair, right? But I don't think it's doing any heavy work.
Because this past week, I took Friday off. So I've had Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Okay.
I have shampooed the carpet in every room of the house.
Oh, there you go. Did
Except
you
two.
go get the rug doctor? Did you
No,
go-
I own one. I have
Oh,
one.
fancy schmancy.
Well, for many years, I was not housebroken.
yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
okay. That
So
explains a lot.
Yeah, so it was well worth the
Somebody got
price
cleaned
we
that
paid.
carpet.
Smart. Yeah.
But yeah, so I've done that, and it's like going over it like 3 or 4
Oh,
times
yeah.
and just picking dog hair.
Isn't
dog
it
hair,
great
dog
to
hair.
look at the water though and see
Oh,
how
yeah.
black it is?
Oh,
and
yeah.
you're like, oh my.
Especially here's the other thing that people in Vegas don't understand.
Yeah.
If you got carpet on your main floor,
Yeah.
I will never I rent, but
Yeah.
I would never put carpet on my main floor.
Yeah.
Hard surfaces only.
Yeah.
Because if you walk through a parking lot
Yes.
in Vegas and you walk into your house,
Yes.
kiss your carpet goodbye.
Goodbye, yeah.
It is toast.
Anybody that visits Vegas, they never fucking know what this is.
Yeah.
And like you'll have people come visit your house and you'll be like, oh, please take your shoes off at the front if you have carpet. You know,
Right,
like
yeah,
and for a long time we had carpet. And it was always things like, oh, please take your shoes off. Like, oh, really? Because like in all these other places, it's not weird to
Yeah.
walk in with your shoes.
Yeah.
But in Vegas, man, you look at the bottom of your shoes, they are black.
Yes.
And that is just asphalt.
Yeah, because we don't get any rain.
Nothing washes it
So
away.
yeah, so it's just oil, dirt, and it just sits there
And
for months at a
120
time.
degree sun
Bakes.
pounding on it.
Yep. And then it gets into your
bringing it
shoes.
out.
Just
Ah,
disgusting.
It's terrible. And once it gets into your shit, you're not getting it out.
No.
Like you can vacuum rug doctor
No.
that shit 1,000 times.
Yeah.
It's just black water.
You're not getting it back. Yeah.
No.
Okay.
Gross.
I've seen so many people use this. I finally caved in and bought one.
woman.
Yeah.
Big mistake. First of all, it's not easy to use, as everyone says.
Oh, okay.
You have to fumble around with it to get it to sit correctly.
Jacob
and
fucked
even
me up
then-
with this woman thing. Now I can't.
Now he's just thinking of
I
that.
can't think of the answer.
And even then, it's hit or miss whether it works the way it's supposed to.
That's right, Jim.
Half the time, it just ends up making more of a mess than it's worth. And the cleanup afterwards takes way too long. I was expecting something revolutionary, but honestly, it's no better than doing things the old-fashioned way.
God. He's ruined
Okay, so
me. I can't think of anything
This is
else.
a hint.
Yeah, please.
It's a very popular personal care item, often touted as a time saver, but not for everyone. Time saver.
Personal care item.
Huh.
Time saver. Huh. But they're talking about it makes a mess.
You fumble around with it to get it to sit correctly, and even then, it's hit or miss
Like a
whether it
coffee
works the way it's
tumbler?
supposed to.
Butt plug.
Oh, that's it. Yeah, I think that's probably.
You know, actually, butt plug fits.
Yeah.
It always
Is there
does.
No multiple choice, right?
No
You
multiple
just take the
choice.
shot. I'm going to go with, I don't know. Fuck. Like, what's something you're carrying? Fanny pack? That seems popular right now. Probably that. All right, give me fanny
To
pack.
sit correctly.
I don't know. Then maybe fanny pack or Crocs. I don't know. I'm
I
going
don't
fanny
know.
pack.
I was thinking like dishwasher or something, but
Yeah.
like, but
Yeah.
you said
Carrying this
personal
around.
item.
Very popular personal care item.
Taser?
Reading glasses? I don't know.
No, maybe that's it.
I'm gonna go.
All right, take a shot on it.
I'm gonna go. Toothbrush.
All right.
Electric toothbrush. Holy shit!
Oh, wow.
I fucking call
Weird.
shenanigans.
Weird.
Wow.
Nick looked at the answer, said what it was, and then got it right.
Of all the
I-
words that
I
came to
swear to
your
God.
head.
I swear to God. That's,
All right.
wow. Ah, look at that.
Weird.
Yeah.
All right, great.
Cool.
Are we done with that break?
Yep.
All right. So you're in the lead.
Yep. Look at that.
Look at him go.
Mysteriously. Wow. Really great, buddy. I was given an ultimatum. My boyfriend, 27 male, and I, 24 female, were out to dinner with my parents, grandmother, and 2 brothers, ages 12 and 14. My mother and I got into an argument that resulted in her, on purpose, throwing her drink down and it going all over my boyfriend. This is not the first time she's made a scene in public. He is done being embarrassed by her outbursts. I am too, but I guess I've gotten used to it because I grew up with it. Due to this, I've basically been given an ultimatum. I can choose one of three things. 1, I can completely cut contact with my family. 2, I can still see them, but boyfriend is 100% not involved in it at all. Or 3, we break up. We've been together for 4 years, and I know my mother is an issue. She has been an issue with just about every guy I've ever been with due to her behavior. I've always felt I'd have to cut her off, but I don't know how to do that without being cut off from my brothers or stepdad. He's not being an asshole about the situation, but at the same time, he can't take worrying about when or where her next freak out will be. I've known since very early on that I want to marry this man, but I just don't know what to do. I love my family, but at the same time, I can't keep doing this with her. She always brushes these outbursts off like it didn't happen. I know if I cut contact with her, I'll lose my stepdad and my brothers until they're 18 years old and can do things on their own. What do you recommend? Anonymous. Man, you just got to backslap mom. Next time she does that, just one across the face.
Let her know.
Fast as possible. Just like a dog. You rub their nose in it.
So the interesting thing here is that writer understands.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really glad for that.
Yeah.
No, mom's
And it's
crazy.
Like, he's not wrong.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah.
Very upfront.
Like, I don't know what to do about this, but he's definitely not wrong.
Well, it's been 4 years this guy's
Yeah.
been putting up with this shit, and he finally says, I can't. Like,
Yeah. It
she
sounds
threw
like-
her drink down at a restaurant.
Yeah.
What?
and presumably, like, soaked him.
Dude, what?
Yeah. Oh, no, I'd be gone too.
I mean, I lose my shit when a kid accidentally knocks over a glass. Like, that ruins the night if somebody spills water. If a grown-ass woman got up and angrily threw, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude, holy shit.
I mean, I tell you the path that I would take.
This is
Yes,
it.
here we
This
go.
is Get ready to get life coach
real-
writer.
This is why you write it.
This is why you wrote in. You didn't want to hear our therapy bullshit.
The real path that I would take is I would say out of those three options, if you're truly just going to pick one of those options,
Yeah.
I would pick option B.
Okay, that's
And I would say I will continue to communicate with my mother.
Yeah.
And you don't have to be involved.
Okay, you just take you're not there.
Yeah, I would say
Boyfriend
like
gets a
if
pass.
I'm going to be at with my mother at a function or whatever, I will go by myself. A boyfriend, fiance. Did we figure out
Boyfriend, I think.
boyfriend?
Boyfriend on deck to be fiance.
Yes.
Yeah, writer wants that to be husband.
Boyfriend is invited. Boyfriend is welcome.
Okay.
I think you can tell boyfriend about it.
Yeah.
And just say, I don't expect you to come. You know what? I've selected this option. I don't expect you to come. I want you to know that we're doing this and that you're invited.
Yeah.
So I think you can keep that. I think you can keep that line open. And I would also communicate that exact thing to mom and stepdad.
That boyfriend is invited.
Boyfriend is invited
Okay.
and is choosing to not come because of this, and I support that decision
I like
on
that
boyfriend's
piece.
part.
I like that piece.
He is having a really hard time dealing with this behavior,
Wow.
and he has opted, with my support, he has opted out
Yeah.
of dealing with this behavior for now.
Well, stepdad
For the
and
foreseeable
brothers,
future.
they fucking get it.
They get it.
Stepdad is
And
going
that's
to be
why I
like,
would include
I would like to
stepdad.
hang out with your boyfriend
Yeah.
instead of this
And that's
shit.
why I would include stepdad in that conversation.
Yeah. So you say, don't sit on it.
That's
Don't
it.
downplay it.
No, we're not pussyfooting around this.
Right.
We're letting everybody know. The kid, if the brothers are young or
Young.
whatever, you didn't say how old the brothers
don't
were or
loop 'em
anything, then maybe not involve them because they probably don't need to be involved. If you feel like they do, then that's up to you. You know your family better than we do, obviously. But yeah, I would just say, like, look,
I like that.
he's not going to be around for these things
Yep.
because he cannot deal with this.
Yes.
Now, I would also suggest when communicating with your boyfriend about this to just make it clear between the two of you that you are not making a lifelong decision on this. Leave yourself a path back.
Say, this is just a right
This
now
is,
policy.
for right now, as long as we need it to be,
Yeah.
this is it.
Yeah.
If mother changes her behavior or something like that, and boyfriend wants to take another crack at it, leave that door open.
Okay.
I'm not even saying that you need to plan for that eventuality, I would just say leave yourself that option.
Don't write this in ink and say
There's
this
no
is
reason
forever.
There's no reason to say that it is.
Yeah.
We're
going to
do this. We're going to do this as long as it needs to be.
I like
and if
that.
as long as it needs to be is the rest of our lives, then that's what it is.
How do you feel about the possibility? Because it sounds like mom has a history of playing it down and be like, "Oh, it wasn't that big of a deal. You guys all whine about it. Blah 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 blah."
Fine.
So she minimizes it.
You want to play it down? Play it down.
So what if now this hurts the other side, where Ryder, mom and stepdad are like, "Oh wow, boyfriend doesn't want to come here. He thinks he's too good for us. We're upset about this. This is offending us. We want to be together as a family."
Well, I think that's where your support, I think that's where Ryder's support is very important.
That's what I was going to say too. I agree with everything you said and just want to double down on none of this works if Ryder does not support boyfriend.
If Ryder is saying this is what boyfriend wants to do, and so that's what he's going to do, that doesn't help.
No.
Yeah.
This is what boyfriend feels as though he needs to do for his continued good mental health and for the continued health of our relationship, and I support that 100% because you are not acting appropriately, Mom.
Yes. And I think furthermore,
and another
triple
thing,
down
you bitch
on this. If you, Ryder, feel like you can't be 100% behind boyfriend, then maybe at that point we need to reevaluate this relationship.
Right.
That is a good point. Well, because like I know for a lot of people, and you know, it's especially a lot of women, they've shared this before, that seeing boyfriend with my family and feeling like this is all a big package thing is very important to me. And like that makes me feel in love with you. That makes me feel close to you. I want you with me at the holidays. I don't want to have to pick like where we do Thanksgiving. I want to celebrate my birthday and have all the people I love there. And it's tough because Ryder says, look, I grew up with this person. And that's one of the things therapeutically that I want to zoom in on. Whenever you have been contained with crazy your whole life, you are so desensitized.
Ryder's used to it.
Yeah. You've gone nose blind.
And that's whenever you start to realize that shit's not normal, is whenever you're hanging out with friends or you see their family or your person acts out in front of others and you're just like cleaning up the mess. Like, oh, let me just towel up this water and sorry about that. Can we please get her another glass of wine? You know, like you're just like cleaning up and then other people are horrified.
Right. Wait a minute. Your dad doesn't punch the waiter
I'm so confused.
at Applebee's?
Yeah. That's normal, right?
Well, it's like when SJ and I, when my wife and I first started dating, this is a very easy peasy thing.
Yeah.
This is not a dramatic example. But when we first started dating at Christmas time, her mother loves Christmas. My mother-in-law loves Christmas. Self-proclaimed queen of Christmas.
Okay.
So when we go to Christmas...
Also, Mary is the queen of Christmas, but continue.
That's fair. All right, fine.
Yeah. Let's credit where it's due.
Yeah. I mean, Jesus was wearing a dress.
Yeah.
He's the real queen of Christmas.
Yes, queen.
So at my mother-in-law's house at Christmas time, no one has fewer than 20 presents.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
Everyone has a literal pile of presents in front of them.
Oh, goodness.
At my family Christmas, everyone has like 2 or 3.
Yeah.
Tops.
Yeah. And they're individual socks that just
sure.
one of the pair.
Yeah.
That is gift one. Second gift is the
But
other.
like with her family, it was, and her growing up, the norm was everyone has a ton of presents.
Wow.
And some of them are big presents, some of them are little presents, whatever, but everybody has a ton of them.
Yeah, that's what she grew up with.
Yes.
That's normal.
And like
to her.
the first Christmas I spent with her family, I was like, what is happening?
Yeah.
This is
There
insane.
are more?
Yeah.
Why is
Is
there
somebody dying?
a pile of Christmas presents over there that is then distributed amongst people, and everyone has a small pile of presents in front of them? And she was like, well, yeah, this is what we do.
Yeah.
I was like, this is not normal.
Did that create a problem where she had that expectation, and so then you get her 2 or 3 sensible gifts?
Oh, it created no problem at all. There was no issue at all with that. But no, I'm using that as an example of just like, here was a thing that my wife thought
You're nose blind.
That was just a normal thing. That was normal Christmas Day, whatever, with the family. And like, I was like, this is not normal at all.
But this really does happen. And I think for so many families, even if somebody in your family is not mentally ill, but just is over the top or like aggressive or weird, and like they just comfortably make a scene.
Or makes 8 pounds of shaved beef
That's not
for
part
4
of this.
people
That's
to
not
have
part of
sandwiches.
this. That's not, I believe in abundance.
Disturbing.
It's like my 20 Christmas presents
Upsetting.
every Sunday. Yeah. Who the fuck knows the portions? They're not on the pack anyway. All right, they don't say that. They don't say serves 2 or serves 3. It just says meat. Like, I don't fucking know. Anyway. But this is a big part of this. And Ryder, this is what I think puts you in such a strange position, because once you go nose blind to this and it's something that you're used to, over time, and I agree, I like Jacob's strategy a lot, where I kind of predict there could be some difficulty down the road is, okay, so Ryder tells parents, look, I support boyfriend not coming here. I think no less of him. I'm in agreement with him. But then emotionally, Ryder is itchy and hurting because she misses boyfriend and she's in this juxtaposition. But intellectually, she agrees with boyfriend. But then over time, she starts to think, just like anybody, then this goes back to like Codependence Anonymous and Al-Anon, you start to think, oh, well, it's not that big of a deal.
Well, or like, well, I have to deal with it. Why can't you deal with it?
Right, I just deal with it. Like, you know, like I get that it's uncomfortable. I get that she's annoying, but like the other 7 dinners were fine and you're missing out on all those.
Right.
Why don't you just learn how to deal with the one? Or why don't you And like, this is, again, something we talk a lot about in Al-Anon, is like, you can easily slip back into this position of thinking like, well, sure, I had to call into his job and lie and say that he's sick whenever he's really hungover and all this stuff. But like, I mean, the other 4 days of the week, he went to work.
Right.
So like, you know, let's not overreact here. And it's like, dude, you are delusional. Like, you are inside of the bubble of crazy and it's normal for you, but it's not normal to others. And then that can start sabotaging your other relationships, just like in Al-Anon, because then your friends and your loved ones, your siblings are like, this is not okay. You need to not do this with him anymore. And you're like, you're overreacting. You don't get it. And then there's a division that's created. So I fear that will happen.
Perhaps there can be some conversation with boyfriend as well. In this, where your boyfriend, because this is clearly painful for the writer. This is clearly a painful thing for the writer. I empathize with the writer a great deal on this. So maybe this can be something where you say, look, we're going to take option 2. Boyfriend isn't going to be around mom. We're going to make that clear to mom. Hopefully mom will start to augment her behavior a little bit. And then also just say, look, I'm going to talk to my mom, to your boyfriend. I'm going to talk to my mom. You know, hopefully mom is going to calm down a little bit with these things. Hopefully this will get better. I would just ask you, boyfriend, keep an open mind moving forward. Perhaps we can re-examine this going forward. Will you agree at some point to give this another chance?
I like that. I like that a lot, because I think if this is just a forever agreement, this will affect...
I don't think it can be a forever agreement.
It can't be.
Forever agreement feels way harsh on this.
I don't like it. I don't like it.
I think whatever you're agreeing to right now.
It sucks to be in this situation.
It really does.
It's a great relationship. And like, if you're a boyfriend, I mean, let's put ourselves in that shoe.
Oh, yeah.
Because if I'm like, man, I've been with this girl for 4 years.
This is great.
This is my woman. I want to be with her. But then it's like, I don't want to have this lady's fucking grandkids.
Well,
and like, now she's in my home, or she's like fucking up Christmas or birthdays. Like, no.
Yeah, that's a good point. Also, we talk about the writer's perception of what she wants her big extended family to look like. Well, he has that same thing.
Right.
He has his idea of what he wants his relationship with his in-laws to be. And that's now shattered too.
Right.
So it goes, I mean, both people are...
Oh, no one is happy in this.
It's a really
including
tough
mom.
thing.
Yeah. And I think
mom, writer, and boyfriend, nobody is happy with this scenario.
I will point out, too, in case anybody missed it.
I feel that the restaurant's happy because they get to sell another glass of wine.
Okay, somebody's happy.
All right.
We're moving on.
Yeah, one person's doing fine. Problem solved.
One more thing I will point out.
Invest in waiters.
That we did kind of talk about writer kind of going nose blind to this. Now, I would just remind the writer, this has been an issue, as she said, with every guy that she's been with.
Gosh, that sucks, man.
So she can at that degree to that level understand that, like, okay, it's not just my boyfriend's really sensitive. This is now happening.
It sounds like writer understands where boyfriend's coming from,
which makes me think that option 3 is or not breakup, but option 1 might be inevitable.
What was option 1?
I'm gonna have to cut off my mom.
Oh,
because
maybe.
I mean, if you've got every ex-boyfriend, the best predictor of future results is past results. And even option 2 might be a Band-Aid on the broken leg.
Could
and
be.
I wonder, like, at some point, is this shit going to erupt again? And maybe you're going to have to, I mean, maybe you guys do get married. Maybe like you do start having kids. And maybe then he comes and goes, I'm going to have to divorce you.
Yeah.
Because I cannot allow our children to be around this woman. I need you to be on my team. And I wonder if Ryder's going to have to just wrestle with that option now.
Maybe.
And maybe because it's inevitable down the road.
I do like the idea of not having to make any big decisions right now, though, too.
Try out number
kind of like
2.
you said. Yeah. And then just like, we're going to
Because cutting someone off forever is always an option.
Yeah, we're just going to continue to reassess. We have a plan. We're going to move forward. We're going to reassess, and then we're going to come up with another plan. We may stick with it, or we may come up with something new.
And also, as we know,
continue to reassess.
And as we know from other letters that we've heard over the years here, it's easier to cut someone off than it is to repair that relationship down the road.
Right. Yes. And in this situation, I mean, look, I've been on this before where people say, what about cutting off parents and stuff like that? And I've always been like, oh boy, I want to be really careful with that.
That's a big solution.
It's a big one. I remember Whitney's mom was here and we kind of asked her about that and she was weighing in as
and parent. She's not here now.
Yeah.
Because we cut her off.
Because we cut her off. Enough with Karen. No fucking more.
That's it.
You don't come here and try to do our job. Not going to happen. You threw water everywhere. I wasn't going to have it. But no, I mean, like, I don't like that solution. But in a situation like this, where you keep getting the same result,
right?
And now you don't get to be happy, you don't get to be partnered, you don't get to have a future with somebody. Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
And like, apparently you're picking healthy men because they observe this and go, no, like, I'm not going to live in this kind of hellhole. And like, I don't want you to find some guy that's cool with it. Because then that might not be very good. He might have a bunch of fucking red flags and he's cool with it and he puts up with this shit.
And I think that can all be part of the conversation with mom.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, if you have a conversation with mom and stepdad,
it's gonna be a hard one.
It's gonna be unpleasant.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be. Nobody's gonna leave there feeling great.
Don't have that conversation at a restaurant.
Do not. No. Or when mom is holding something with liquid in it.
Yes.
The gag is just mom always is like trying to fill up a drink in case she needs to throw it at people.
Maybe hand her something soft and not breakable before having this conversation.
Order with a sippy cup. Just ask for the kids' cup. Like that way it's just not going to make as much of a mess.
Perhaps hand her a stress ball and then say, Mom, we need to talk about this.
Yeah. Or slip something in the drink, like dissolvable Benadryl.
There you go.
Right. NyQuil. We could fix
it. Just an edible.
Yeah.
Get her a little stoned.
Chill out. Yeah. Drugging the parent is a
you could, and you know better than us if this would benefit or not. You could possibly enlist the help of stepdad to have any kind of conversation with mom.
Right.
Almost treat it like an intervention in some ways.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it's causing demonstrable problems in your life.
Yeah.
How would you, I guess the other thing too that I was kind of thinking, like if you were going to have that conversation with mom, tie it back to a specific example.
Yes.
Yeah.
We went out to eat. You threw a drink at him. Therefore, he is not comfortable coming over anymore.
Right.
There you go.
Well, he's overreacting.
And just
I didn't
make
throw
it
it at him. You're such a drama queen.
Yeah.
Well, 2 dinners ago, you yelled at him and told him that his feet smelled like oysters.
I'm
and
honest.
He was wearing shoes
I'm
at the
authentic.
time.
I'm the only one who cares enough.
Yeah.
No, but I like your point, Nick, because that's intervention 101.
Yeah.
We don't talk in broad things. We talk in specifics. Yep. And I like option 2, but I also like that Ryder should also mention to parents, he is not going to be coming as much. I super support that. I understand the why. Also, consequently, I will be choosing to be with my boyfriend. And that means you're going to get me less often.
Yeah.
And they go, wow, you're choosing him over us. In
Sometimes.
part, yes. And I wish I didn't have to make that choice, but you are forcing a reality where that is my option.
Yeah.
And so I'm going to have to nurture my relationship and still try to be part of this family. And I could parlay all of that. I would love to see that turn into a conversation of, can we do some family therapy over this?
Yeah, sure.
And boyfriend doesn't have to come to this shit.
Everybody drink.
But we can always...
Pod therapy drinking game. We suggested therapy.
We're always going to get back to that. But I like this as a family therapy opportunity, which people can think, oh, we're all adults, though. Yes, I've had lots of adults sit down and say, we need to work through the patterns that we have, and we need to hear each other, and we need to take this seriously. And yes, mom needs to be heard, too. Because I'd love for mom to use her words and in therapy practice being heard and sharing her point of view without exploding.
Yeah.
And looking forward to going to therapy and yelling about something that went wrong or
Like
whatever.
there is obviously an issue that caused her to throw a drink.
Something's
You know,
provoking
at
her.
the very least,
Yes.
something to her was extreme enough
Yes.
that she had to throw a beverage. Let's talk about that.
Option 2.
What's
with
the
a side
problem
of
here,
family
Mom? What's
therapy.
going on? What was your issue with at that moment?
Yes.
And how could we have resolved that without
Right.
throwing a drink?
Tell us all about it.
Yeah.
That's great. Bring that back over here, and let's get tips from our therapist and let's try to use them as a family.
That's it.
And suggestions of here, when mom seems elevated, here's what I want mom to do, and here's what I want stepdad to do, and here's how I want you guys to ask her questions, whatever. Let's learn how to diffuse the bomb. But if you keep doing what you've been doing, you're going to keep getting the same results.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the move. And then, what do you think about hiring a fake boyfriend to show up to family events? Maybe it's like a whipping boy.
Maybe a gigolo?
Well, yeah, why not? Sure. Again, just sex worker. I think it's, probably we're on that team.
Fucks mom.
Fucks mom.
Calms her down.
I think that's an option.
Yep.
That costs extra, and I don't know if that's financially viable
It does.
long term. But no, he's a whipping boy boyfriend. So he just shows up and he just goes through the ass kicking in the family scenario. You're protecting the mental health of real boyfriend. And then you just lie to parents and tell them that, this is the same guy. And you just gaslight them. Just be like, no, this is
And then
still
when they're
Mark.
like, oh, that's a different person.
No,
You're like, it's not.
It's not.
That's Mark.
You're old and you need glasses.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is still Mark. Same guy.
You know what? Everything else out the window.
Yeah.
That's plan A.
Option 4.
Yeah.
We found the answer.
I knew we'd have another option before
You're
we were
welcome,
done.
writer. We solve all the problems. Well, good luck with this. I can't wait to find out more. But yeah, I hope this doesn't end your relationship. You deserve to be happy. And if you have a family member who is sabotaging your entire life or this very important part of your life, like imagine it was a job and you kept losing jobs because your parent got upset and would cause a scene or call the job or threaten your boss or do something insane. Like at some point, you've got to start taking some kind of control in your life.
Yeah.
So you've got to set up a boundary. I like boundaries more than ultimatums. I think that's what the second option is. And, remember, Gigolos, Craigslist, I think is a solid, go-to. Start there. And
I wouldn't say anything forever.
Yeah, Gigolos Forever is way too expensive.
Yeah, that's pricey.
That's subscriptions, though.
Right.
Maybe you get a discount if you buy in bulk.
Groupon.
We're all using the same dude.
Yeah.
Wasn't that a McConaughey movie or something that some chick was going to a wedding and so she hires Matthew McConaughey?
I'm just going to say yes.
Yeah,
It sounds like
the
it.
script passes, right? You hear that?
It's
You go,
gotta be.
sure, why
That
not?
sounds McConaughey.
They end up falling in love. Spoiler alert. We're going to take a quick break. And
Maybe
when
it's an
we
Adam
come back,
Sandler / Kevin James bit.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I need somebody to.
Yep,
Well,
that could
they
be
did
too.
that. That was Larry. That was the one where they're firefighters and they get married.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
It's for union benefits.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah. Anyway, pretend to be a gay firefighter. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about getting into your feminine energy. You're listening to Pod Therapy.
Today's episode is brought to you by Judy Schneider, Leon Kasav, Carolyn Albert, Sammy Scoop, Sarah Smith, Mike Helm, Darren Cunningham, Matt and Lisa Tangeman, and Cody the DeLorean Guy. Would you like to sponsor the show? Become a therapy producer at patreon.com/therapy. All right, we're getting into the placebo effect gone wild.
Ooh.
True.
After dark. Yeah.
Okay. Studies have shown that the effectiveness of a placebo pill can be influenced by its color, which color is typically perceived as having a calming effect. It is multiple choice.
Did we get 2 if we shoot from the hip?
I don't
Can
think
you
we
already
should.
see the
I don't
answer?
think we
Oh,
want
I can already see the answer.
I don't think
you
we want
then.
multiple choice. I think we just want to go.
I'm going
okay.
on it.
All right, what do you think?
I want blue.
Oh, I want yellow.
Ooh.
I was going to say yellow too. Fuck.
Yellow is calming for you guys?
Yeah.
You're fucking psychopaths.
I don't know.
It's clearly
I'm going to
blue.
go.
I mean,
no,
that's just boner pill.
I'm going to go yellow
Oh,
as well.
shit. Viagra is blue.
I'm going to go yellow.
2 yellows and a blue?
It is blue.
All
You
right.
guys,
Fuck.
you dummies. Yeah,
All
yellow's
right.
not calming, man. No way. Yellow is like
Oh, what,
emergency color.
You'd feel stressed if you were taking a yellow pill?
I would.
Would you feel stressed if you were taking a blue pill?
No.
Would you feel stressed if
I'm
you took a
calm
pill?
thinking about it. Yeah, I probably would.
There you go.
Yeah, honestly, I get pretty stressed out about like fucking ibuprofen. So yeah, that's probably true.
Right. In experiments, participants who believed they were drinking alcohol but weren't began exhibiting signs of intoxication. What does this demonstrate about human psychology?
A lack of drinking on a regular basis.
The need to feel cool.
They need to drink more.
So okay. This is multiple choice?
It is.
Let's hear it.
Oh, yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, fuck it.
Cognitive dissonance, the placebo effect, social facilitation, confirmation bias.
This whole thing's about placebo effect.
Yeah, I'm going to go B.
Sounds like B.
I'm going to go B.
Yeah, let me go for B too.
Sounds like B.
Okay. It is B. Okay. Hey! All right.
We are good test takers.
Look at us go.
This section is on Skittles.
Okay.
Which of these candies is Skittles?
A, Skittles.
Skittles. B,
Not Skittles.
Skittles.
C, some shaved meat.
All right.
Sold by the pound.
When dogs were given sugar pills by hopeful owners, they showed improvements in conditions like arthritis.
Oh, wow.
What likely caused Fido's feel-good frolics?
Can we say placebo effect?
Please don't read the answers. God, I hope it's in there again.
No, it's not.
That would have been great.
Okay.
Give us the answers.
A, dogs are gullible. B, owners' positive vibes influencing the dogs.
Ooh.
Magic treats or doggy yoga sessions. I'm going to guess it's B.
Probably B. Probably.
Which sounds a lot like
B.
placebo effect. Doggy placebo effect.
Correct.
Whoa. Guys, we're so good at this.
Nailed it.
I think it's the best we've ever done.
3 for 3.
Yeah, just no misses. Wow.
Whose intern put that together?
She's doing great. I can't be in my feminine energy in my marriage because my husband is weak. What should I do? My husband and I have been together for 6 years. Overall, we have a good relationship, but it's lacking sexually and physically. It's because my husband has never been the type to stand up for me when it comes to his family or just in general. We went on a trip and 2 men had come up to me asking me to take a picture with them, and my husband stood by and said nothing. My sister-in-laws have been rude to me and make jokes at my expense, and my husband just stands by. We even had a situation today where I realized that my husband and I had been sitting at this table for 15 minutes at a restaurant in Venice, and nobody had come up to us to take our order or even give us water. But the table next to us, who had just sat down, already had water and bread and their appetizers in. So I called over a waiter and asked who our server was, and he was just so annoyed, so I asked him what the Wi-Fi password was, and he whispered 2020. And I didn't hear him, so he said it again, but with an attitude, so I told him we'd been sitting down for 15 minutes and the table next to us just sat down, they've already got everything, and the waiter started going back and forth with me being rude and giving an attitude, and my husband said nothing again. I ended up just walking out of the restaurant, and my husband ran after me. My husband apologized once again, but I told him every time he has a chance to stand up for me, he never does. He always just sits there and says or does nothing. The other day we got into it, and I just wanted to be alone by myself, and he was like, I'm not leaving you alone in a random country, and tonight I reminded him of that and said, even if a man does come after me, you wouldn't even do anything. I can't be in my feminine energy when my husband doesn't defend his wife, when another man is being rude to her. So, I don't know what to do. I don't want to divorce him because we do have an okay relationship. I'm just sick of having to wear the pants. And because of this, our sex life suffers. Thanks, Anonymous.
I'm going to propose something that we've never proposed before. I wonder if this writer and the last writer can switch spouses.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we could just do a Freaky Friday.
We could do a.
Then this guy can get water tossed on him. He's perfectly
He's totally
fine.
cool with it. He's
and
not
then
going to
the other
like,
guy
that's
will
fine.
get into fights constantly for this
not
other
putting up
one.
with this bullshit.
Yeah.
Oh, this is a great
we got
idea.
like celebrity spouse swap.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
Problem
Right.
solved.
Problem solved.
God
Moving on.
damn. Track record, buddy. Damn, that was quick. So we just got to get that contact info. And
Yep.
Yeah. Hopefully
Even
they're
though-
in the same town or something.
These are also all submitted anonymously, so that's
They might
not
be
gonna help.
neighbors.
Yeah, let's assume they are.
Yeah. Let's
Aren't we
assume
all?
they're next door neighbors.
Yeah, like these guys are in Venice right now, so maybe they're stumbling upon each other.
Yeah.
That's probably possible. This is a really interesting one because I'm a big believer in like letting people be who they really are. And like, I'm sure you weren't dating this guy and he used to be a fucking lion, you know, like, he's just flipping fucking tables
Yeah,
over.
just
Like,
got soft.
excuse me, there's no cutlery. Like, this is what you bought, right? And so sometimes I kind of am like, I don't love it whenever we get in a relationship with somebody, they are a certain way. Eventually we get kind of sick of that. And now we're like telling them, you need to be a different human. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm talking to my ass, but that kind of makes me itchy.
I think we also all get a little less confrontational as we get older.
That's
definitely true.
I mean, I'm certainly less confrontational than I was 10 years ago about things.
You throw much less at me than
I
you
mean,
did in year 2.
arguably two less.
Yeah.
Too
I get
little.
away with a lot more.
Yeah.
It's just true.
You know what?
No shit. No. I almost caught one. Almost.
Here's the other thing, though, too, is I don't like, this really rubs me the wrong way, this expectation that like guys have to get into fights.
Yeah. It makes me itchy too.
It just,
but like, okay, I will give her some of this, but so if you're with a partner and that partner keeps getting into shit and then you don't follow them into that shit and they're like, why don't you have my fucking back? And it's like, because you're kind of a bitch.
Yeah.
And like, you're starting the problem.
Because you're causing problems. You're instigating.
You are the problem. Like, watch this be the mom.
Yeah, like,
this is the mom from question 2.
Like Bill Burr was like, even hockey has 2 minutes for instigating.
It's like, you're starting this. I don't want to help you.
I don't like. Here's the thing. Like, if I'm out with Laura and somebody just acts like an asshole and does something completely obnoxious.
Right.
And she is the victim of that.
Okay.
I do feel a sense of responsibility.
Okay.
To like jump in and deal with that situation.
Yeah.
It has never happened.
Right.
Okay?
Right.
Thankfully, it has never happened.
Right.
But also, like, if she's acting a fool.
Right.
And then has this expectation that I need to get into a fight.
Yeah.
That I don't need to get into.
No.
I'm just minding my own business.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no.
I'm not
sorry.
in a hurry to
like,
eat. We're in Venice. I'm happy just sitting here. Like, I like the ambiance.
But there's also this.
You're upset. I'm fine.
This thing that bothers me of just like this idea or this expectation that I can act however I want because there's not going to be any consequence to me.
Right. Yeah.
My partner will suffer the consequence for whatever actions I choose.
Yeah.
But let me ask you this.
That makes me feel
a little
icky.
Because this is what this question kind of feels like to me. So let me phrase it a different way. If someone is treating your partner in a somewhat derogatory, sexist manner,
Yeah.
then do you feel that you have more of a responsibility, perhaps, to intervene as the if it's a male treating your female partner in a sexist manner? Do you feel like as another male you have more of a responsibility to kind of step in and insert yourself in that altercation because she's already being thought of as lesser than by the other party?
Yes.
Yeah.
I do.
That's why this feels like a little bit like with the pictures and things like that.
Yeah, the picture
That's
thing
a weird
is like,
one. So I'm assuming kind of a little bit of sexism with the picture example that she gives.
Yeah, I do in that sense feel an obligation.
I may be writing my own letter here. I'm not sure.
I don't know. How do we respond to that?
Well,
if some dude's like, oh, can I take a picture with you? I just want her to say no.
Yes.
And then if he escalates it, now I'll get between them and now we have beef.
Yes.
But she's perfectly capable of being like, no. And that's it. And like homie walks on and I
just
feel
put
like
myself between them in the picture.
Oh,
like,
there
let's
you
all
go.
get a picture.
Yeah.
Put
We
my arm
can
around
do
both
it
of them.
as long as I'm in it too. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel a need to resolve the scenario.
Yeah.
But I don't necessarily feel the need at that point to like be aggressive.
Right.
Like I can just be like, all right, let's go.
So
or let's move. Let's go someplace else.
Yeah.
But I do agree. Like I don't want to be the first person to say that.
Yeah.
I would love if my partner says it first.
I think,
and then I come in and support.
Yeah. Yeah, that to me is, which I think is feminist. Like, I mean, I'm not going to be that guy that's like, you do a punk? You're looking at a girl? Who the hell's your problem? Like, come on, dude, don't be a douche. Like, let her just decline. The other guy clearly didn't read our dynamic, or whatever, or thought she was hot and he was going to shoot his shot right in front of me. But like my security with that and me not flipping out about that doesn't demonstrate that I'm not masculine. And like, I take issue with that. Like, I remember early in my marriage, somebody...
I agree. That is not what demonstrates Jim is not masculine.
Other things. There's a list, but this is not one of them.
Let's bring your son in and ask him how he thinks about your masculinity.
Yeah, he's going to teach me how to use the grill here pretty soon. Like, Dad, that was a lot of fucking meat. It's funny because he was watching me do it, and I feel like he was just disappointed. And I was like, oh, are you
8
watching
pounds,
Dad cook?
Dad? 8 pounds of meat.
It was pretty funny because like I'm going and he's like, God, that is a lot of meat, Dad. And I was like, well, we're going to have some leftovers. He's like, all right.
Some.
I remember like in like year one of my marriage, one morning my wife like woke up early and I was still asleep and it was like a weekend and she went to like Dunkin' Donuts and she came back and she was being really sheepish and she was like, hey, I was like, well, you okay? You seem a little off. She's like, yeah, I don't know. The guy at the thing, he gave me these for free, gave me coffees and said my money's no good here because I'm too pretty. And I just laughed. I didn't know what to say, and I just left. And I'm feeling really good.
Thank you for the donuts.
Yeah, we were fucking newlyweds.
That's what I say.
So she was nervous, and she's like, she didn't know how I was going to handle it. And I was like, okay. And I was like, well,
could you go back in and
that's
get me a donut?
100%. I said, well, they also have those.
To step on it.
Yeah, they have those egg and bacon sandwiches. Like, do you want to just like maybe put on some lipstick? Like, go back. Like, you can give them a number. It doesn't have to be your number, but like,
maybe
I would really like one of those fucking. Yeah, I'd say you can take a finger or two. Like, fucking give me a sandwich.
Episode title.
Yes, so that's going on.
Take a finger or two
right now. But yeah, like, and I'm not insecure. Like, I don't care. Like, if I lose you to the guy at the donut fucking shop because he gave you a free dozen, you know what? We were not meant to be.
Yeah.
So like, anyway,
He fought a fair fight and he won.
I didn't realize I was outmatched. So like, I kind of
How am I supposed to compete with a Dunkin' latte?
I don't know, fucking Dunkin'. Yeah. So like, I agree.
I mean, I've got one of those pod coffee bakers, but that's it.
The Keurig's not going to do it. So like, there's a part of me that feels like I want to defend the husband, but I do want to relate to the writer a little bit because I do think that there's room for the writer to say something to the effect of, my emotions are not important to you. I feel ignored. I don't feel supported.
Yeah.
That's fine. And I'm also going to take the writer at her word where she says, look,
right.
I don't feel safe sometimes, man, because you never seem to take an opinion or stand by me in any situation. Sometimes I get nervous that like I'm walking by myself when I'm walking with you. That's
Perhaps.
Extreme, but I can see the writer's point.
Because if we want people to change their behavior, we have to tell them what behavior needs changing, which you're already doing. But you have to come up with some kind of plan as to how to change that behavior. So perhaps you have a non heightened emotional conversation about it. So at a time when you're both calm and mellow, say, hey, now might be a great time to really discuss this.
Right.
Sit down, explain to your husband exactly what it is about this that bothers you. Mm-hmm. And then perhaps come up with something that you can do when you're in public to just say, hey, I'm looking for your support in this scenario that I'm in right now. Mm-hmm. And if it's just saying like you turn to him and say, hey, help me out with this, whatever the signal is, and perhaps work from there. What do you guys think about something like that?
I like the communication. I think that's a good idea.
Yeah. Here's the only other thing though, is I would say, writer, you can have this conversation, express this need that you have, but then also be open to feedback. What's his perspective on this? And say, how do you see this? And be genuine when you ask.
Yes.
Because
it's important to not have this conversation when you're already upset.
Don't do it when you're having the fight. Yeah.
This is an important part of this conversation is everybody is calm and happy before you go into this conversation.
Yeah.
Because here's the thing, like we only see situations from our own perspective.
Right.
You have no idea what his perspective looks like in this situation. And he may not have any idea what your perspective looks like. So if you're going to resolve this, you both have to be able to express your own perspective while also being willing to see the other person's and try to find some middle ground.
Yeah, and I like your point about being curious because this opens up the door for him to explain. And he may sit down and say, look, I am paralyzed with fear. And there's some things about my life that have put me in that position. And the way you need to see me is as not a resource. If you're creating an escalated environment, I may become absolutely paralyzed. And you may not realize you're doing that to me by participating. It's not in our best interest or my mental health best interest for you to have any fights anywhere else. So that might come out. And that would be, I think, a very important piece of information.
Sure.
Instead of just saying to somebody, why can't you be a man? Oh, I hate that fucking phrase, by the way. Just be a man. Why don't you just be a man? And then they tell you, a real man would do X, Y, or Z. Oh, I hate that shit so much. Like,
I don't know why Jim looked at that picture of his mom that he keeps in the studio when he said that.
I am a man. I pay taxes. That's what men do, Ma. No, but
real men know where their water shut off is.
Damn right.
Thanks, son.
Thanks for figuring that out for Pop. No, but I love your point. Like being curious because there's so many different answers that he might have in him. And it may be, look, I disagree with what you choose to get riled up about. And I feel like if I contribute to that, I'm condoning it. And that sucks too. You're a hothead. Have you ever thought of that?
And that's exactly what I was thinking too with the situation of having waited 15 minutes at a table and the server not showing up.
Yeah, and you're in a foreign country.
Right.
Somebody else maybe is a local and they just got seated and taken care of.
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing too, is like you have to understand, like, because I'm getting ready to go to Paris and like,
oh yeah, they're going to be dicks to you.
Well, no, but like that's the thing is people think that Parisian servers
he is too pretty.
are just rude and they're assholes.
Yes.
But that's not actually the case. It's just that their standard of service is different in the sense that they leave you alone. No, they leave you alone until you want something.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You have to say, hey, I'm ready to order. And then they come over to you. But it's not like in America where they come over and like, how is everything? Just checking on you. Do you guys need anything?
Okay.
They don't do that in Paris.
So
like, you get your food.
So you will be ignored until you summon them.
You will get seated, and then they'll give you the menus.
Okay.
And then when you're ready, you let them know.
Oh, interesting.
And they come by, they take the order, and then they leave.
Okay.
They'll come back, they give you the food, and then they fuck off. And they will not come back until you wave them down.
Because tipping's not a thing out there.
No, I mean you can
sense.
you can drop €1 or $2, but it's very rare. Like
they don't. They're doing the minimum amount possible.
Well, it's not. Yeah, it's just But from their perspective, it's like, well, I don't want to keep bothering you.
You're here to enjoy yourself.
Enjoy your meal. Do your thing.
Yeah. If you need me, you'll get my attention.
Interesting.
Yeah.
See, Disney's Beauty and the Beast really set a different standard for what Paris hospitality was going to look like.
Yeah.
I mean, it was fucking songs and there's a whole number and they're just bringing out shit and they were super excited to see them, like, be our guest, man. Like,
man,
this is not the real world.
They may have misled you there.
Yeah.
But okay.
Wow.
Aside from that, if we just assume that, let's just say they're back in America and the same situation happens, like, it's one of those things I can kind of resonate with the guy here. And like, I've worked as a waiter, and so like, sometimes people get busy and it's not just like, I'm upset about it too. I also don't want to wait 15 minutes.
Right.
But it's not that you're upset. It's what you do when you're upset.
Yeah.
And so like how we react to these different things, like because he reacts differently doesn't mean he doesn't care.
Yeah.
It's just,
I think you and I are both a little curious about the writer's reaction at that restaurant. Because like being left to wait, and even if the waiter is being a little salty with you and a little short, you got so upset that you stormed out of a restaurant and caused a scene. And that seems a little bigger than what I expect. I mean, maybe that's a once in a lifetime thing. It's like, hey, I have never done that in my life. It is the culmination of this whole trip, like just feeling, and I was in some kind of headspace.
And maybe the server was being a real asshole.
Maybe he really was over the top. What do I know? Maybe he was cursing in Italian. Not many things. So I don't know, but I don't know. Writer, I don't want to pick on you. I don't want to make this something that, you're the problem. I don't agree with that. I think it's safe and healthy to tell our partner that we need something from them. I want to be careful not to change their personality, like going to an introvert and telling them you need them to become an extrovert. Like, I think that's...
I need you to become the life of the party.
Right. Like, why don't you ever get up on top of the table and fucking go? And it's like, that's not who I am. Like, I never misrepresented myself as anything other than who I am. So I want to be careful with that. But I like if you're sincerely wanting change without blame, Nick's path was the right one. Approaching with sincere curiosity, as Jacob said, not when things are heated, not when there's blame to go around, not when you're still settling an argument, and saying, teach me how you're feeling. What's going on inside of you whenever you see me engaged in something? Do you think I'm a little hot under the collar? Do you think I fly off the handle a little too much? Does that make you uncomfortable? Are you scared? Maybe you were beat up as a young man. Maybe you've had bad experiences and you're flashing back to something that I'm not aware of. Teach me what's really going on. And that, writer, is the path to real change. If your goal is to see your partner do things slightly differently and get a little bit more supportive, figuring out what's going on inside of them in a non-judgmental way. And that means you've got to really step away from language like, when I hear somebody say, I can't get in my feminine energy, I'm comfortable with that, as long as that is not the other side of the coin of saying, be a fucking man. Because it sure fucking sounds like both phrases are going to come out of the same mouth. And so I'm going to give you the benefit of the doubt and assume you're not doing that shit. But if you are, you're never going to hear his truth. And if you really want to get to the bottom of it, if you really want to enable change, you have to be non-judgmental and accepting and curious and genuine and disarming. And he has to feel that it is safe to confess to you what's really going on in him. And if he does, you don't get to judge that. You don't get to say, well, you're a coward or you're afraid or you need to take better care of me because that's what a real man does. That's not how you're going to lead to change. Anybody who has a disposition or personality trait or something about them that they perpetually do in a compulsive or automatic way, you can't shame them into changing it. It starts with curiosity. That's how a therapist would change it. Getting them to self-examine it. And then creating small deviations from that norm, small experiments, trying something new, and then discussing, how was that for you? What was that like for you? What can I do to better facilitate you reacting? How can I support you? How can I tag you in ways that you feel more comfortable with, but opening that door in a gentle way. If you want results, writer, that's the way you're going to get them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I don't have much else to add to that. I think
we need to call Whitney and ask how the service is in Italy, because Venice is not sounding like a win.
It's fine.
Oh, wow. Man, that was so quick. I've been to Venice, and I did not sit down in any restaurants, because that son of a bitch is crowded.
What?
I did not care for it.
You went to Venice and didn't eat?
I got gelato.
You're an idiot.
That's all you need. I got gelato and pizza. I was 16. I didn't fucking want anything else. I wanted pizza. I told you.
16-year-old idiot.
From Pizza Hut, right?
I wish. No. The Italian pizza is drippy but good, but it's very drippy. It's just, wow, so drippy. And not very saucy. It's just the dough and then the cheese and not a lot of cheese and no stuffed crust, just none. No Canadian bacon. When I asked them, they just looked at me.
Nick, there's got to be something
kind of like the way you're looking at me.
Move it along.
As we wrap up the show, we want to remind you can sign up at patreon.com/therapy. You can get the extended show advertisement free a day earlier, as well as enjoy our live chat Discord community and our weekly deep dives, interviews, skill shares, research roundups, and rants. And we've got no new people to celebrate.
Yeah, we do.
Never mind, the script is wrong. No, never mind. I'm wrong.
No, it's not. Yeah.
No, sorry.
We have a new producer.
Oh, shit.
Welcome to the board, Sam Cohn.
Nice to have you with us. Wonderful. Man, I need to wear my glasses that are right next to me when I read the script, but who can do that? We'd also like to thank the benevolent, revered, generous, and flagrantly pro-therapy diehards who love you all so much, they give till it hurts. The Thera partners, Dirty B, Pickett, and Jake Schneider. Or it might be pronounced Schneider. I've never asked.
I'm sure it's Schneider.
You think it's Schneider? Yeah.
No, I have asked. It's Schneider.
Okay, good.
Yes.
Yeah, then we'll definitely be doing that from now on.
Also, Jacques.
Jacques Schneider.
Jacques Schneider.
Yes. Oh, yes. I think, yes. That's... Write that down.
Yes.
And we want to thank our boss, the mysterious and shrouded members of the fan club. Their producers, thank you, Myra, Robert Brownie Jr., Mint, Smitty Scoop, Ben Don, Judy Schneider.
No, that's Schneider.
Oh.
That's Judy Schneider.
Oh, you got it.
Yeah.
They're no relation.
No.
Kayla Lansbury, Malia, Leon Kassab, Mason Miller, Richard fucking Macy, Carolyn Albert, Kevin Chamberlain, Tess Miller, Sammy Scoop, Ben Stanley, Slap in Your Face, Sarah Smith, Adam Hathaway, Byler T, Mike Helm, Paris, Darren Cunningham, Lib, Team Monaco, Thunder, Cougar, Falcon Scoop, Matt and Lisa Tangeman, Heyo, Oscar Swanrose, A Sunny Boy, Slurpy Kai, motherfucker, Sandra McWaffle, Dan Martin, Hannah Marie, Andrew Langmead, Emma Kane, Alina, Cody the DeLorean Guy, and introducing Sam Cohn.
And if you'd like to hear this episode uncut and unedited,
and why wouldn't you?
And enjoy our spontaneous side projects, go to patreon.com/therapy. And thank you for supporting mental health.
That's all the time we got for this week's session. I want to thank our landlords, Matt and Mattingly's Ice Cream Social Podcast. And thanks to those of you who contributed to our show today. We really appreciate it. But remember, pod therapy isn't something to keep all to yourself. Share this episode with the world. Tag us on the socials when you do. It's at PodTherapyGuys on Instagram, Threads, and Twitter, and it's /PodTherapy on Facebook. And don't forget about all the extra goodies at patreon.com/therapy.
Do you want to submit a question? And you should, because we're out. Ask anonymously at podtherapy.net or email us at podtherapyguys@gmail.com. I'm Nick Tangeman.
I'm Jim.
I'm not Whitney.
And we'll see you for your appointment next week. Send questions.
Also,
by God, we will not do this show.
The anonymous question situation, I've mentioned in the past, but just to refresh everybody's memories, go to podtherapy.net. There's a link that says submit the question. It will take you to a Google form that is fully anonymous because Tumblr started wanting people to create accounts to submit questions, and we didn't like that. So we want it to be anonymous so you can just go straight through that link. It's all still up there. Or you could just email us. If you email us, we will always keep it anonymous anyway.
Yeah. If you email us and just say, keep this anonymous, refer to me by anonymous or by whatever made up name you want to.
Yep.
We will respect those wishes.
That is true.
There you go.
All right. Goodbye, cruel world.
Bye.